The day that almost cost me a kidney. First, a little background information. My name is Janelle. That's Janelle. Janelle. I'm a 21-year-old French girl. Therefore, I apologize for my English. I'm a student in Lille, France. That's right, Lille, France. And that would be Lille. Also, this happened to me in the year 2021. However, I'm writing these lines during the first days of January of the year 2023. Well, tired of not finding true love, I decided to lose my virginity with my best friend. Then, I find a fantastic sex friend with whom I got along wonderfully on all levels. For 3 months. Then, sounds like the time comes to throw me away because I still love my ex. Yeah, I still have the same. Little fragile that I am, I make my first suicide attempt. I go to the emergency room and then I get sent to the mental hospital. For the smart ones among you, you will have understood that I was already in depression for a few months. I was undergoing treatments then. You know what I mean. I also had a strong penchant for alcohol. And to complete this autodestruction mechanism, what better than dating apps? So, the match. A few weeks after my release from the mental hospital, I match up with some different people to make new encounters, and I especially do this in order to forget my dear and tender sex friend. I always meet the guys at home for a first date because I have zero experience whatsoever, and that's what I did for my very first date. One fine day comes when I match a guy. Let's call him Myuu. Myuu is not very beautiful and has a few extra pounds, but I'm not Beyonce either, so I match up with him. By the way, that's Myuu, Mathieu, Myuu. We laugh a little. We have some common tastes, and especially he smokes weed, so I thought, perfect plan to smoke some joints between two fucks. He gives me some personal information, like his address, and his job, or rather old job, as he just got fired. Looking back, I've got no idea if it's the real one. Work or not work, I don't care, as I do not want to do my life with him anyway. I explained to him that I am fragile and that I come out of a kind of mental clinic. That I am depressed and blah 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 yada yada yada. It's all for the sole purpose of making him understand that you can't play with me. And I also tell him that I'm looking for a sex session. But still with discussion, complicity, hugs, etc, etc. Not just a shot in 20 minutes and it's done. He assures me that this is what he's looking for too, and that he's actually very cuddly. So, perfect plan. After only 2 or 3 days of discussion, we agree on a date. Mojito party at my house, and he brings some joints. The meeting. Myuu arrives, and he is really not cute. He looks even worse than in the photos. He has a dirty look like greasy hair, stained t-shirt, a style of teenager who is still looking like one, despite his 26 years of age. In short, I'm far from wetting my panties, but I desperately need company. I offer him to make the drinks. While I choose a film on television, he runs and passes on the kitchen side to prepare 2 mojitos before joining me in the sofa. We talked a bit. He is not very smart or very interesting. I drink and I drown myself in my drink, hoping to animate the party alone. And this is a 3-day blackout. Reconstitution. According to our dear Myuu, We would then have drunk and smoked while watching a film before going into the bedroom. I vaguely remember being naked on my bed and seeing him dressed above me, looking at me before turning his heels and slamming the door hard. My phone is discharging. It has no battery whatsoever. My alarm clock is not ringing. I'm away from a work group appointment, so my friends are worried and they call me. They can't contact me, so they contact my sister, but she also goes to voicemail. The girls come down from my house and they begin ringing again and again, but there's no answer. They call the fireman, who managed to open the bottom door, but not the door to my apartment. They knock on the door calling me, and I end up opening the door, dressed in a blanket to hide my nakedness. I look at them with incomprehension. The firemen conclude that I'm hungover and they leave, while my friends help me get dressed. They also think that I drank too much. They notice that my body is covered with yellow betadine on my arms, my legs, and my stomach, etc. I told them that I burned my arm yesterday and that I wanted to heal myself, but no sign of a burn or anything is on my arm. Besides, I don't even know betadine. They take my cat and take me back to one of their houses, since I am in a comatose state. I have trouble speaking. I look completely elsewhere, as anesthetized, and I even seem to have trouble thinking. The next day, my sister comes to pick me up so that I can stay with her for a few days. Everyone is convinced that I tried to kill myself with drugs and alcohol. I start complaining about some pain in the vulva and blood loss. My pill stops my period completely, so my sister takes me to the hospital. I explain to them that having a report may be unprotected because I was unconscious. Then here comes the AIDS vaccine, anal and vaginal samples, hair samples, etc. I am advised to file a complaint, and I'm being redirected to the obstetric emergencies. The next day, I finally regain consciousness gently. My relatives see it right away. I am a little more lively and my remarks consistent. They meet me in the gynecology emergency. I get swabs done, and I get preventive AIDS treatment. Over the course of a week, I made a series of appointments for blood samples, urine samples, etc. And I went to file a complaint with the testimony of my friends who met me at home and my sister who took care of me. After talking about it to people my age, older people, but especially medical staff and the police, the term organ trafficking was more than often mentioned. They think the guy chickened out at the last minute. Despite my complaint, my bed full of betadine, my underwear torn off, and the blood on the doors of my apartment, to which I say, "What the fuck was that for?" My attacker got nothing, and I will never know what really happened and what he really wanted.
I would like to point out that I used to drink and smoke in addition to my treatment, and that never before have I had a blackout of 3 days. I'm pretty sure he put something in my drink. It's good to talk about it anyway. Thank you.